Hello everyone, I'm Sean.
This is who?
We are the Courageour Frights, back once again for another movie review.
Yes, the best movie of the year.
Yes. Of all the films that have been made in 2024 or will be released in 2024, Madam Web was one of them.
Yes, for sure.
And we saw it today.
Yes.
So this is, of course, part of Sony's Spider-Man-less Spider-Man universe.
Yeah, the Spunkverse.
The Spump universe, or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
This stars Dakota Johnson as the titular Madam Web.
Yes.
And a bunch of other people as other spider people.
Whoever the other people's names are. Oh, we have Dakota Johnson, I guess Sydney Sweeney.
And which one was Sydney Sweeney?
I believe that's Julia.
Julia? Okay.
Yeah, Julia Cornwall. We have Isabela Merced.
Yes, she is Anya Corazon.
Yeah, Corazon. And then we have also, I think she played Dora.
Yeah, she played Dora the Explorer.
So.
And she's going to be an alien Romulus.
Yes.
So she has quite the filmography.
And then we have Celeste O'Connor, which is Maddie Franklin.
Yeah.
Which I think she played in the Ghostbusters movie. She was the love interest of Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, those are four core main characters.
Yeah.
At least on the hero side.
Yeah.
We also have Adam Scott playing Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben. That's his name, Uncle Ben.
His name is Uncle. And the bad guy. Who's the bad guy in this?
The bad guy is Tahar Rahim.
Okay.
And he plays as
Ezekiel Sims.
Ezekiel Sims. Yeah, he was the bad guy, which is just evil Spider-Man.
Yeah,
pretty much. Or Spider-Person.
He's a spider person.
Yeah.
He's a person and his name is Ezekiel.
Yeah, he walks on the walls like a spider.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't shoot web. He has a sixth sense.
Yeah.
And he can just take hits, I guess.
Cool. He's a ceiling guy.
Yes.
That's his superhero name. So that's our lineup, basically, in this cast. Of those guys we mentioned, Adam Scott is the only coherent actor of the whole film.
I'm pretty sure he was just playing himself.
And he's just playing Adam
He's
Scott.
Literally just there.
Yeah. Pretty much.
He's like, I signed up for this.
He's not even acting, but he's the only one that's tolerable.
Yeah.
Dakota Johnson's all right.
Yeah.
She's not terrible. And Isabela Merced is probably the only other one that was tolerable. The worst actor in this film is the guy playing Ezekiel.
Yeah, the bad guy.
This villain is terrible. And I think that he had to have been dubbed for part of the film, at least. They definitely did a lot of ADR work.
Yeah, because there's scenes that just look like they doesn't match his mouth. It's really weird.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's definitely, the dubbing is off sync or something.
Yeah.
And he just puts I don't know if it's just like a language barrier, because he's a French Algerian.
French actor or something.
Yeah, he's a French actor, so I don't know if it's just acting in English is an issue.
It was like a French actor trying to sound Spanish.
I don't know if he was or not.
I don't know. It sounded like he was supposed to, but I don't know.
I don't know if he was trying to play that. Maybe he was playing the character thinking that he came from Peru.
That's probably it.
But I don't think he did.
Yeah.
I think the actor wasn't sure what his character was.
Probably not, because they probably didn't give very much direction.
Probably not. So anyway, this film starts in the Amazon with her Madam Web's mother, who went to study spiders in the Amazon, which I think was the famous line from the trailer that got dropped. It wasn't in the movie, but there was a really famous line in the trailer. It was famous for like dead, terrible line delivery, and that's a theme in this film. So your enjoyment of Madam Web, I think, comes from whether or not you find terrible line delivery and just really bad exposition-y dialogue to be funny.
Yeah.
And if you think that stuff is funny, personally, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of enjoyment out of this movie. And we're here on this channel, we do make fun of bad line delivery a lot.
Yeah.
Our favorite is probably Indiana Jones is part-time.
Yeah, part-time.
And he also has a really funny line back in Raiders of the Lost Ark, too, where he explains what a date is to Marion, and he says, "You eat 'em." So, Harrison Ford isn't even above weird line delivery. But this movie is full of, like, deadpan line deliveries, terrible exposition dialogue that makes no sense.
And if you think about some of the story, it's it just falls apart.
The story makes no sense. There is a lot of terrible editing going on here. Yeah. And it's debatable how much of it's intentional.
And you could see Tahar Rahim going into the subway with no shoes on.
He's just walking around.
He's wearing like a black suit tuxedo.
With no
shoes on. It just looks weird.
He's just walking around his bare feet on a New York City subway.
It's like, what is he doing?
That seems like a sure way to get like tetanus or something. But yeah,
that's how you know how crazy he is.
He's interesting. So anyway, her mom is in the Amazon rainforest in Peru looking for a spider because she knows that spider can cure her unborn daughter who has, what was it again?
Like myasthenia gravis or something.
Yeah. So it's like a musculoskeletal disorder or something.
I think Tahar Rahim is trying to get the spider for
his evil purposes.
Yeah, reasons. I don't know. Actually, what was the reason why he was like with her for no reason at all? He was like, give me that spider.
He didn't want to help people.
Yeah.
He wants it for something.
Yeah, he never actually says.
He kind of he reminded me when he said that she says later on that you can help people. He says, I don't want to help people. And it reminded me of that famous Spider-Man panel with the pterodactyl man.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you could cure cancer. And he's like, but I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
Yeah.
That's what this guy reminded me of.
Yeah, I guess that is true. Because he's like, doesn't he say, like, I was an orphan or something?
Yeah.
He's like, I was an orphan, no one helped me, so now I'm not going to help anyone.
Right, yeah. So anyway, she finds the spider. I guess we spoiled it already. She finds the spider, but then he reveals that he's actually a bad guy, kills all the other people in the camp, and takes the spider.
Yeah, he's like, I want the spider, then he shoots her.
Yeah. In a scene that basically foreshadows Uncle Ben's death.
Yeah.
And then and then immediately after that, a bunch of spider people show up.
Yeah, because that's like the local legend.
Yeah, Los Araños.
Yeah, and like in the Amazon or something.
Yeah. They show up, they fly through the trees, they glitch out.
Yeah. It looks bad.
It looks real bad. They're like bouncing around in the trees and it looks terrible.
Yeah.
And they take Madam Web's mom to the Lazarus pit.
Yeah, Lazarus pit. Where they forcibly put a spider in her throat.
Spider bites her in the neck. And then she gives birth to Cassie, Madam Web. And then she dies.
Yeah, then she dies.
We believe she died from the spider bite.
From the poison from the spider.
That's our theory as to why she died. But apparently that spider bit her, and then within seconds, it cured the unborn child.
Yeah.
And then the child was born without any malnormalities at all.
Yeah, and then he's like, she's going to come. And then the guy's just like, she's going to come back to get answers or something.
Yeah, she'll come back and I will be here to give her answers.
I'll be in the exact same location.
And he is.
Yes.
30 years later, he's standing in the exact same spot.
Yes.
He just stood there for 3 decades waiting for her to come and see him.
Yes.
So that's like the backstory of Madam Web. Yeah. And I guess that spider bite cured her disease and gave her like precognition.
Yeah, which I guess it hasn't shown until like recently after she had like a near-death experience, which...
Yes.
Or I guess we're getting into that part here.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to need to do blow-by-blow descriptions of this movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then we fast forward to the present day. She's a paramedic. She works with Uncle Ben.
Yeah, Uncle Ben, which is also like her... It's like her partner.
Yeah. And then we get a bunch of Spider-Man references, but nothing concrete.
And some like 90s stuff, because you have like... Or 2000.
2003.
This is in 2003, so you see a blockbuster and like... people riding on skateboards.
Right, but there's also like modern cars. And stuff.
And like cell phones and stuff.
Yeah.
Or like they're playing a bunch of like 2000s music and stuff. And,
yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, she has a near-death experience. She tries to save a guy, and the car goes and crashes in the water, and she ends up trapped in the car.
Yeah, Ben Parker helps her out, but she does like this weird thing where she just saves spider webs everywhere.
Yeah, she has a weird vision.
Yeah.
She sees a bunch of spider webs. She sees a big S and a Pepsi logo.
Yeah.
And the Pepsi logo will play a very important role.
Yes, later on.
Film. And that's the beginning of her precognition.
Yeah.
Shortly after that, she starts to see the future.
I can see the future!
And, but she does nothing to stop any of it.
Yeah.
She sees her friend's death, and then...
She gives a CPR to a guy that's conscious.
Yeah. There's a guy, he's just laying there looking up at her, like, helpless.
It just keeps giving him CPR.
There is so much CPR in this movie. Like, if watching people give compressions is your thing, then this is the movie for you.
Which is, like, they don't give the actual, like, air part of it.
Yeah, they don't give breaths. Like, I was wondering if there was, like, a brief time during CPR where it was discussed that both of us have a bit of a medical background. Yeah. So there was a time that there was discussion in the CPR community whether or not they should do away with the breaths.
Yeah.
And just give compressions. Because I guess compressions is like 80 or 90% of it. And the breaths is like 10. And they, I guess, decided to continue with the breaths. Yeah. But in this show must have taken the part where they got rid of the breaths. Because now it's just all compressions.
Yeah, all compressions
and it's
all the time.
It's not 30 compressions in a set.
No.
It's endless compressions. Because if you stop, they will die.
Yeah, they said they will die if you stop.
That's what she tells you.
Because like, that seems like foreshadowing later on.
They even ask her, like, how many do we have to give? All of them. Yeah. Never stop.
If you get tired, just have the person just go right after you stopped.
Yeah, which I guess they do tell you to do. Have a second person or whatever to tag out. But yeah, compressions are a huge part of this movie. Yeah. CPR is something Hollywood really loves.
Yeah,
for some reason.
Is a big thing.
And it always works.
Yes.
Except for when they don't do it.
Yeah.
Like her friend who gets in a car crash and then she does exactly like 2 compressions. Yeah, and then Adam Scott's like, no, he's dead already. He's dead.
He wanted to be out of this movie by now, so just leave him go.
Just let him go. He would have wanted it this way.
It's like great.
So anyway, she now has precognition. She can see things before they happen, but she doesn't really know what to do with it.
Yeah, because she's wondering why it's happening, and she's going to like getting doctors stuff, and they tell her to stay home.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
They said it's trauma.
Yeah.
It's
trauma.
You can see the future now.
Yes. She could be a Silent Hill protagonist.
Because of trauma. But, so that's happening. But Ezekiel Sim also has the same ability.
Yeah.
He can see the future as well. But he has, like, dreams that are prophetic. And he sees that these 3 girls are going to kill him.
Yeah, he just knows their face from, like, his memory, because he sees it every night.
Yeah. And there's a scene with Jill Hennessy in there, which I didn't realize that was her until I looked it up. And she's not even credited. She didn't want to be known. She thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Yes.
And she's in there. She used to be a big actress, like, around 2003, actually. Yeah. She was in outstanding films like Komodo.
There you go.
And she was in, like, Crossing Jordan, that show that was on forever or whatever. And I think Law and Order. But, yeah, she's in this. She looks more like Madam Web than Madam Web.
Like, the traditional Madam Web's supposed to be, like, an older, like, lady, like an elderly woman.
Right. And she's not that old. Yeah. But she does look more like the Madam Web character than what we got. And, yeah, so she's in this briefly. And we find out that Ezekiel has some way of injecting venom in people.
Yeah, I think his like powers is instead of shooting web, I guess his thing can shoot like just have venom.
He just touches people.
Hands somehow?
And through a suit.
Yeah, that's true. I guess he does do it through a suit. And it has to be like a little bit of time. It can't just be like right away.
Right. It has to like pump into you.
Yeah.
By him touching you. And there's a part where she even asks him, "How are you poisoning me?" And that's a good question, because apparently it's through touch.
Yeah.
but they just had sex.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
So she has a valid point. How does he poison her?
Yeah.
Like, he apparently injects it through his skin or some shit, but, like, spiders inject it through their fangs.
Yeah.
You have to be bitten by a spider to be poisoned.
I guess he's like...
They don't just touch you and you get poisoned.
He's like a poisoned dark frog at this point.
I guess. Yeah, basically. But only when he chooses to.
Yeah, when he...
Selective.
I guess he can, like, just excrete it out of himself.
Selective secretions.
Yeah. Yeah.
This movie's got a lot going on.
Yeah, and I think he's doing that because he's trying to get, like, he read online or something, or maybe like in a magazine. I guess the online hasn't been happened at this point, which I think it was in 2003.
2003 had the internet. Like,
yeah, and he's like,
the internet started in the mid-90s.
He's like, I read the CIA says to have like surveillance systems being made or something like that.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's the reason why he's like.
Is that reason why he has
why he's seducing that lady?
He apparently has control of a system that's basically what Batman was trying to do in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, and that's the reason why, because he needs like the codes to get into the CIA's like system, his camera system.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and that's the reason why he's like seducing this lady.
Yeah, I think we're probably gonna discover what this movie's about through this review.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so that's a scene. But anyway, that's how we get the setup that he needs to hunt these 3 girls.
Yeah,
and they need to de-age the girls because they have to realize that somehow they got an image of them from his dream.
Yeah, yeah, like perfect image too. It wasn't like a hand drawn thing. It was like he went on Blender.
No, it was like a video footage.
Yeah. They're like.
It was video camera footage from his dream.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It was weird.
And they enhanced the image from his dream.
And they're just like, these are teenagers?
And then they found that
they won't be teenagers. That's what it says. He's like, they won't be teenagers in the future.
They'll grow.
What?
They'll grow. Or it's like that scene when in Avengers Endgame when Scott Lang comes back as a baby.
Yeah.
And then Bruce Banner's like, he'll grow!
Yeah, he'll grow. Basically that. He's like, I didn't know one would be attacking teenagers. They won't be teenagers in the future. It's like,
they'll grow.
What?
But anyway, so the whole plot of this movie is because this guy has bad dreams.
Yeah.
So he wants to kill these 3 teenagers before they can turn into the superheroes.
Before they can turn to adults, I guess.
Yeah. Keep in mind, all these actors are over 20.
Yeah, these are like older actors.
In the one in particular is ridiculous. We'll talk about that when they're introduced, I guess. But he wants to kill these teenagers, so he's putting himself in mortal danger to try to kill these people now instead of having to deal with them in like 10 or 20 years.
Because I guess... Oh, this is later on, but the one... When she goes back to the Amazon, he's like, he's been running away from his fate this whole time. Because he stole a spider.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
So anyway, Madam Web, I guess, gets a vision of these kids as well. And finds out that this Sims guy's hunting them. So she's on the train. And she gets, like, a crazy future PTSD or something.
Yeah, which that scene was weird. Because it's like...
Yeah, it was a mess.
It shows, like, the train coming in. And then the guy that's playing the PSP is like... There's a bunch of crazy people here. And they don't cut back to the other scene. And then the lady will walk in.
Yeah.
And she's like, are you feeling okay? And then the train will show up. And then it will, like, go cut back again. It's, like, really strange.
She took her jacket on and off, like, 12 times.
It was, like, really disorienting. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was very disorienting. And then it showed a guy walking in there and just, like, Undertaker choke slams people to death. Like, I don't know. It was really weird.
So anyway, she sees the vision of the 3 teenagers. They're all on the same train for some reason.
Yeah.
And she sees a vision of each of them get killed by Ezekiel Sims, who walks in with no shoes.
Yeah.
And so she gets them all up. She gets them out of there. And then from that point on, it's like Terminator.
Yeah.
So where she's playing Kyle Reese. And she's trying to save, like, 3 Sarah Connors.
Yeah.
And this guy's chasing after the ceiling guy.
Ceiling guy is, like... alien. He's like the main xenomorph or something.
Yeah, he's
pulling people under pulling people under signs and stuff.
Yeah, he pretty much plays like the T-1000 or something. And then they get away. They steal a taxi cab which is an ongoing joke in this movie because she steals a taxi cab at the beginning of the movie, and then she drives this taxi cab for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
It is never, like, even looked for by the police.
Yeah, the police don't care.
They don't care.
I'm pretty sure they know because they have, like, in all the papers, in, like, the Daily Planet or whatever. What is the Spider-Man's paper? Is that the Daily Planet? Or the Bugle?
That's
or
the
Bungle
Bugle.
or whatever.
Bugle.
The Daily Bugle.
The
Daily Bungle.
That's the Sony version.
Okay. Yeah.
So, the Sony spunk version.
They have her face and picture and everywhere, like, girls have been abducted. It's everywhere.
Yeah, and it's on the radio. They're looking for her, not Ceiling Guy.
Yeah. Because they think that she stole them. Like,
they think that she is in the spider suit, in the dad bod spider suit.
Yeah.
They think this skinny 30-year-old woman is wearing the dad bod spider suit somehow. I don't know. But anyway, she steals a taxi. No one cares. No one ever tries to get the taxi back.
Because at this point, this has like been like 3 days. And no, the guy would have said something to the taxi place, and they would probably be finding it.
Yeah. And then she teleports to the jungle.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Of New York City.
It was in New York City. They're like, let's go somewhere. Like, they don't even say it. It just like cuts to this place.
And they're in the middle of the woods. Like a deep woods somewhere, like in New York City. That there's like a 50s diner right outside.
Yeah, but they're like in like the Amazon.
It's like really weird. There's like big ferns and stuff. And then she leaves them in the woods and then goes home.
Yeah, because she's trying to look at her like old notes or something.
Yeah. They decide to leave and go to the diner to eat.
Yeah, because she's like, don't be stupid. Her parting words was, don't do anything stupid.
Don't be stupid. Or something. Like, and it's really weirdly delivered.
Yeah.
And then they go and be stupid. They go to the diner.
Yeah.
Maddie convinces them to go dance on the table.
Yeah, with the football team, the local football team, I guess.
Yeah, because they're trying to keep a low profile.
Yeah.
So then they all start dancing on the table. So we talk about these three girls first, I guess. One, Maddie, is like a rich girl whose parents are in China on business, permanently.
She's like the stereotypical, like rich girl that's like a rebel, almost.
Yeah. And her parents don't have time for her.
Yeah, kind of against like that system, or what? It's against the system. Or something like along those lines.
Part of your system.
Part of your
Throw it on the ground.
Yeah.
So Madam Webb throws her cell phone on the ground.
Yeah,
so there is a connection.
Yes.
I think she was trying to call her dad, and she said, "That's not your dad. That's a cell phone." Threw it out the window. Yeah. So that happens. So that's one of the girls.
Yes.
The other girl, Julia, is also neglected by her parents.
Yeah, she's like, she's actually the one in the beginning where because she's like, since she's a paramedic, she like actually helped her mother or like her stepmother.
Somebody, yeah. I don't remember.
You see them together in the very beginning of the movie or whatever.
And we know her name is Julia because she has a necklace that says Julia.
Yeah.
On her all the times. So she's the only one that everybody remembers the character name.
Yeah.
She is like a 26-year-old actress in a very tight schoolgirl uniform. It looks like something from a porno.
Yeah, it looks a little bit off.
It looks really bad. She's definitely playing stepsis.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's the one that you just push her around and she'll do anything.
She's like that stereotypical, I guess, character arc where she's just kind of like shy, doesn't really stand up for herself.
No, yeah, she just follows along. So she follows Maddie blindly. The only one with half a brain in the entire group is Anya.
Yeah.
Who is played by Dora the Explorer.
Yeah. And
her father was deported and her mother died when she was young.
So she kind of like lives by herself, basically.
So none of them have they all have parents to some degree, but none of them, the parents play an active role.
Yeah, and I guess they all are like connection with Madam Webb because I forgot what Anya's was. What was their thing when she was like, "Oh, I've seen you before" or something? I don't remember what she said.
I don't remember. It was like stupidly vague.
Yeah, it was like Julia saw her in the hospital.
Yeah, Julia saw her in the hospital. She lives in her apartment.
Oh yeah, she was in her apartment because it had like that scene where it's like rent. You won't have the rent. It was like literally from the movie from Spider-Man.
They should have had that guy. But anyway, yeah, they have a real vague. And then Maddie's connection was she flipped off the ambulance.
Yeah, she flipped her off.
Very tight knit group. They have a lot of strong bonds connecting them. So anyway, they're at the diner. Terminator or Spider-Man shows up, and then
because he has like connection with the police somehow.
Well, no, he had connection with the police, and then told them exactly what to do. Using the correct code.
Yeah.
And then he goes in, and Cletus at the diner, who's some redneck at the diner, recognizes these 3 girls from Ezekiel Sims' dream.
Yes.
How does he know?
I don't know.
Did they have pictures of these girls somewhere?
I think it might have been the paper or what he was looking at. The Daily Bungle had it.
Okay, the Daily Bungle had
it. Had it in there. I think it did. I think he kept looking at the paper and he looked at her, the girls that are at the table, and he's like, "Let me make a phone call."
Yeah, so he calls his Oracle assistant or whatever that runs the computers.
Yeah.
And then that's how he knows. So then he teleports over there to the diner in the forest.
Yeah.
And then tries to kill them. He does succeed the first time, but then it's actually just one of Madam Webb's future visions.
Can see it, and then she's breaking traffic laws.
She gets in a car. She gets in her stolen taxi. Decides to drive at 90 miles an hour behind a logging truck.
Yeah.
Then swerve around in front of it, cut right in front of the logging truck.
Which she didn't really need to do.
Which she didn't need to do at all because she could have just turned right when the logging truck went past.
Yeah.
And gone to the diner, but instead she speeds up past the truck, cuts in front of the truck, and swerves around it. Almost killing everyone in the street in the process. Then she gets to the diner and crashes through the wall and takes out Spider Guy.
Yeah, then she hits him with her car, with her, taxi.
Yeah, and then they all escape. They go to a hotel or motel or something. Then she has a weird dream in the middle of the night to go back to the diner to go talk to Ezekiel because Ezekiel now lives in the diner.
Yeah, it's really... I don't understand, their powers. I literally don't understand.
It doesn't make any sense.
Because she can actually talk to him and have, a full-scale conversation with him.
Yeah. Now they're having psychic battles.
Yeah.
And then she decides to... She basically drops the kids off with Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben, yeah.
And she goes to Peru.
Yeah, because she's like, I need to learn a little bit more about why my mother was in Peru.
Right. So she goes to Peru. She takes the stolen car, parks it at the airport, goes in to the airport as a wanted woman that the police, all of NYPD's looking for her. And then she just gets on a plane and goes to Peru. And
this is a different time, I guess.
This is
2000.
This is after 9/11.
Yeah, after
this is
9/11.
Right after 9/11 when security was probably higher than ever.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. They were lacking there, I guess.
So, yeah, I guess security was laxed at that day.
Yeah.
And then she went to Peru. She goes to Peru for 20 minutes, finds the guy that was at the Lazarus pit.
Yeah.
Because he's been sitting there in the forest waiting for her.
Yeah, he's like, I knew you would come.
She knew the exact location in the Amazon rainforest to go walk to find this guy. Even though she didn't know this guy existed, but she found him. He tells her everything.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange Tai Chi blasts her soul out of her body.
Yeah. Before that, he had one of his other famous lines was, you have to go to the beginning, and beyond that,
you have to go
beyond
even
the beginning,
further
beyond from your birth. You got to go before that.
Yeah,
it's what?
Right. And then she did. She went back. She went back and accessed her memories.
Yeah.
From when she was a fetus.
Yeah.
And overheard the conversation that her mom was saying about her having that disease.
Yeah, myasthenia gravis, and it's like, there's nothing you can do. It's like, no.
There's nothing you can do. But there is spider venom.
Yeah, it's like, I know about the spider from Legend that can cure...
I could get bit by a spider and it'll cure everything.
Yeah.
So...
Which actually, I just thought about this. If Ezekiel took the spider from the Amazon rainforest and it cursed him, if she would have took the spider, would it have just cursed her?
Probably.
The same way, 3 people would come out of nowhere and just kill her one day.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. I was like thinking. I just thought about it. I was like, he stole the spider, and that's what they specifically said. Mm-hmm. He got cursed because he stole the spider, but she was about to steal the spider from the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah.
Before he stole it.
Right.
Okay.
But then... But then she comes out of the Lazarus pit.
Yeah.
And she's given the words of wisdom, which I'm sure is the takeaway of this entire film.
This is the most famous Spider-Man line.
Yeah, if you remember anything from Spider-Man, you'll always remember the phrase, when you take on responsibility, great powers will come.
It's like, what?
That's the phrase.
That's the phrase. I mean, that phrase is fun, like ruined. Like, literally,
that's it. If you take on the responsibility, great powers will come.
Yes.
And I think the implication here is that maybe she told Uncle Ben that, and Uncle Ben misremembered it.
Yeah, he probably thought it was dumb, and he changed it.
He was that, or he forgot what it was, and he started saying, "With great power comes great responsibility," or whatever. But the original line was, "When you take on responsibility, great power will come."
Yes.
So with that
comes great responsibility.
Well, yeah, with great responsibility comes great responsibility, and with that in mind, she returns back. She drives back to New York.
Yes, and while in the meantime, we get the origin story of Peter Parker here. I guess she gets birthed at this point.
Yeah, because Ben's sister-in-law is pregnant.
Yeah.
Which we knew that earlier. There was a stupid scene like where they're at a party or something.
Like a baby shower or something.
Yeah. They were playing games, and it was like really badly acted.
Yeah. And
so she's pregnant with Peter. She's not supposed to be due yet, but her water broke.
Yeah, like 4 weeks premature.
And so the ambulance can't get there in time, so they get in the car and they drive to the hospital.
And then she has like a premonition of Ezekiel showing up and like killing them.
Again. So Madam Web gets to the house, finds out they're all missing. So she hijacks the ambulance that was there to take her to the hospital.
Yes.
And then she drives to where they're at. They're stuck in traffic because they get attacked by the Spider-Dude because
Spider-Man,
he has control of the traffic lights.
Yeah, Spider-Man's like, turn all the lights to green. It's like menacing saying that. Yeah. It's like, what?
He has control of everything. So they get in a car crash. He's about to jump down on it. He jumps onto the car. Then somehow Madam Web flies through a billboard sign with the ambulance.
Yeah, it flies through the Calvin Klein sign.
Right. Somehow. I don't know how she got up there, but she flew through this billboard. He's sitting here on the car. Now, if he just stood there, the ambulance would have gone right over his head.
No.
But instead, the ambulance comes and he jumps up in the air and takes it into face.
It was like, walk into this, and he did.
He jumps right into the front grill of the ambulance.
It's like so dumb.
And then they get away again. He stands up and walks past the fire like he's the T-1000.
Yeah, because she's like, they were trying to find us. Don't worry about him. He's not going to attack you. He's going to find us.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
So he's chasing after them in the ambulance. He's jumping from car to car.
Yeah.
And they end up on the roof of this building. And this is where the final fight happens. Yeah. Because they lead him to like an abandoned warehouse where they have like a bunch of like random fireworks or something.
Which that was that's like foreshadow from the very beginning. That's the one where she's first learning about her like psychic powers and where her like chief or someone dies.
Yeah.
It's like they were like, this building has highly illegal fireworks.
Oh,
that apparently breaks through walls and stuff.
Well, it blew up a helicopter.
Yeah, it was like, it literally had like missiles in there.
It's like some military grade fireworks.
Yeah. Their plan was to light up all the fireworks in there and then trap Ezekiel in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not a good plan.
Not a great plan. So anyway, they blow up the whole warehouse basically, but of course he survives. They get up onto the roof of the building. A helicopter shows up to rescue them.
Yeah.
And then he bursts up out of the floor, and during the scuffle, one of the fireworks hits the helicopter and blows up the whole damn helicopter.
Yeah, like kills all those people.
It's like, what is that?
It's like, what type of fireworks? What type of fireworks is that?
I don't know. Tell us in the chat below if you know of a firework that can destroy a helicopter.
Yes.
So they're struggling. All the kids end up like hanging from parts of the roof, about to fall to their deaths.
And this is where that line shows up again with great.
If you take on responsibility, great powers will come.
And this is another one of the moves that's like, I don't understand Madame Web's powers.
This is the what's that move in Dragon Ball Z when you can split yourself?
Oh, that's
the
like
multi-form
that,
technique or whatever.
What's his name?
Tien
can do. It's like that.
She does that. She splits herself into 3 different Madame Webs and saves all the people. Yeah,
because he's like, you can't save them all.
And then she's like, watch me.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, she says, hold my beer. And
he could have just punched her while he was doing that. She says, literally.
She says, hold my Pepsi.
Yeah, hold my Pepsi. Yeah.
Because there's a big Pepsi sign behind her. This is like the 15th time we've had Pepsi product placement. There's a big Pepsi sign behind her. She splits into 3 different astral projections that can somehow physically pull them up. And they're all saved. Then he falls. They all fight him, and he ends up falling onto the scaffold. Yeah. And, like, some metal debris falls on him.
Yeah, because she got, like, she has a premonition that the metal debris is going to, like, fall on him or, like, fall in a specific area.
Which it does. Yeah. But this is metal debris that looks like it weighs, like, maybe 20 pounds. Yeah. And he has super strength, but he just lies there. Yeah. And then the whole thing collapses, and he falls on the ground.
Yeah, and then, like, the Pepsi sign, the P from the Pepsi sign falls on top of him.
Yeah,
and kills him.
Yeah. So he gets killed by the Pepsi logo.
Yeah. Pepsi Man should have showed up.
Yeah, they should have had Pepsi Man. Pepsi Man actually has about the same CG effect as those arachnid people in the beginning.
Pretty much.
And then she falls.
Yeah, she falls into the water somehow. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Sally falls part or something? I don't know.
She fell in the water, and then
one of the military-grade
fireworks grazes her face and blinds her.
Yeah, grazes her eyeballs, specifically. Hit her in the eye.
And it blinds her. But then she's unconscious, and one of them, I think it was Julia, pulled her out of the water.
Yeah, and this is where they learn their 2 seconds of CPR.
Yeah, each one does 5 compressions, and then she's revived, but now she's blind.
Yeah, her eyes are like a weird color now.
Yeah, they take her to the hospital. Everything's fine, though. She survives.
It's like the same hospital where Uncle Ben is in, like,
in labor.
Yeah, Uncle Ben's in labor. Uncle Ben is in labor giving birth to Peter Parker.
Yeah, the same hospital where Uncle Ben's giving birth to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
It's a crossover with Junior. Yeah. So anyway, what would have been the post-credit scene probably is just at the end of this movie. I'm sure this probably was the post-credit scene. We see that Madame Web is now the Madame Web.
Yeah. Her myasthenia gravis is in full effect here again.
Somehow?
She's not.
And so, like, when she got blind, did she also become paralyzed?
Yes.
Because now she's in a floating Xavier chair.
Yeah.
And she's now, like, acting like this guru.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like...
It doesn't make any sense because now she acts nothing like she just did.
Yeah, she has, like... She can see all of reality now. It's
she's just weird. Like, I can see everything now. I can see everything there ever was or ever will be.
And and
it's like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you like this?
Why are you the way that you are?
And then they, at the very, very, very end, you see a glimpse of all of them in their superhero outfits.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, if you were expecting to see them in their costumes, it's like 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's not very long. It's like his dream sequence, which is him getting beat up.
And then
at the very end. And she's like, when she's doing like the heroic speech at the end.
Right.
Which is like, oh, you will be fighting crime and stuff. And it's like, these are like teenagers.
Yeah.
Like,
so they're sort of like, wait. Are they like the Ninja Turtles?
They might be.
There's like 3 of them. 3 spider people.
Yeah.
So are these the Teenage Mutant Spider people?
Pretty much.
Because there's 3 of them, and they live with their blind master who's now all of a sudden like a Zen master.
Yes.
Even though she wasn't like this like a week ago.
Yeah, and she can actually like just have cryptic knowledge.
She was like this smart ass like paramedic.
Yeah.
And now a week later she has all the knowledge of the universe.
Yeah, somehow.
And
all it caused that was
take a firework to the face. Taking M80 to the eyeballs and you get superpowers.
Which that's the one thing. That scene didn't make any sense.
No.
Her Mycenaeus Gravis showed up again.
Because she turned blind.
Because her blindness showed up. It's like she took responsibility and then she lost her legs.
Well, that's what happens when you take responsibility.
Yeah, it's like,
don't listen to that guy.
Yeah.
He lies.
Like, what?
If she never did any of this, she would have been fine.
Yeah, it would have been like
These
fine.
kids would have been dead, but she would have been fine.
Actually, yeah, because the guy would have killed him, but even though he caused all this problem, like, he literally caused all this.
Well, he caused his own demise, like, 10 years earlier than it was supposed to happen.
Because if he would have not even seeked anyone out,
yeah,
no one would have known who this guy was.
No, he could have
even cared who he was.
He could have continued ruling the planet from the shadows.
Yeah.
He's, like, the most powerful character. He's, like, more connected than Tony Stark.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Somehow.
It's like, okay.
And I guess in this universe, we find out that if there is an established Peter Parker, it has to be Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Because I know people have been saying Andrew Garfield was supposed to be in these things or whatever, which I don't know how true that was. I don't think he was ever actually supposed to be in any of them. But they may have come to him at some point and gave him the offer and he turned it down.
Yeah.
I do think I remember hearing something like that, but that's all rumors.
You probably read the script.
Well, yeah, that's probably what... Even Dakota Johnson said that the script was different than what she signed up for.
Because I was thinking, this movie doesn't... Like, that very ending just feels a lot different from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. It's really strange.
Yeah, it's weird. But so anyway, I can't recommend this movie unless you want to see it for hilarity.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's entertaining, but it's bad. Like, it's bad but entertaining.
Yeah, it's bad entertaining, and you'll find this funny under certain conditions.
Yeah.
Like if you find bad line delivery funny.
Yeah,
if you
or
find
just like nonsensical plots
that make no sense, if you like bad editing, like that kind of stuff. If you're like a film buff kind of guy that likes editing and like all that kind of stuff and finds it hilarious when it's done wrong, you'll get enjoyment out of this movie. Personally, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, that's like it was entertaining.
This is one of the funniest movies I've seen in theaters.
It's like. It was an entertaining movie, but it wasn't good.
No, it's not good. But if you're expecting it to be, like, so bad it's good or, like, intentionally bad, that's probably not the case. So you probably won't... if you didn't think that line in the trailer that everybody laughed at was funny, then you won't like this movie.
Yeah.
But if you thought that line was funny, then you'll probably think it's funny.
Because it's like that.
It's just bad line delivery all the time. It's stupid dialogue.
And, like, nonsensical plot.
Plots that make no sense, like driving a stolen taxi for weeks.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that. So, I would recommend it under those conditions.
Yeah.
It might weirdly be a good date movie or something like that, or a movie to take, or bring a group of friends to see or something.
Yeah.
If you're interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if your friends think that's funny... then
it might probably be entertaining just to like make fun of.
Yeah, well, that's all you're. The only way I can recommend this movie is to make fun of it.
Yeah,
and I think at least partially that was the intention, but it's not quite as goofy as Morbius.
Yeah,
there isn't a character like Matt Smith who's just dancing all the time and doing like over the top nonsense. So. It's more like it's funny. It's funny almost in the Room sense, but not on that same level.
Yeah,
The Room is much more of a train wreck than this is, but it's like that.
Yeah,
in that sense. So that's all I can say about Madam Web.
I guess we have another spunk movie coming pretty soon. Is Kraven?
Kraven the Hunter. Yeah,
which I'm assuming is going to be kind of like this.
Probably.
If that's kind of what Sony is going for, is like that meme movie.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. Yeah. They're just releasing meme movies.
Yeah, because it's like, there's no way they're like, we're going to make a whole universe like this.
Of memes.
Yeah, and then just like take that seriously.
No, I think at this point, I think they were trying to be serious.
Yeah.
They were trying to be serious with the Venom movies, I think, but even those are stupid.
Yeah, because they have like weird lines in that.
Well, the first Venom movie, right from the start, was giving me these vibes, because the first Venom film has that stupid line about a turd in the wind or whatever. You know, I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then the second one I never watched.
Yeah, I've never seen either, but I heard it was like the same thing from the first, but like amped up.
Yeah, like even stupider.
Which it could be like, and then Morbius came out, and that was a meme movie that they just re-released in theaters.
Yeah.
So then this one, they probably based it off that, and I'm assuming the next movie, Kraven's probably the same thing.
Probably.
Because,
I wonder how much they're changing these movies to be meme-worthy.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, Dakota Johnson said this was a different script.
Yeah.
And it probably was a different script, because I remember reporting on this on our news like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it supposedly being about her saving Ben, because somebody was trying to go back in time to kill Uncle Ben so that he couldn't, like,
do the Spider-Man thing.
He wouldn't say the great responsibility line.
He wouldn't see the thing.
If he didn't say the thing, then Spider-Man wouldn't be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I think the plot actually was probably, given that not only is Ben in this movie, but Peter Parker's mom is in this movie. Yeah. It was probably actually supposed to be killing his mom.
Yeah.
And Ben was just in the way because he was trying to protect his sister or whatever.
Yeah.
Sister-in-law, whatever. And then she was involved in that. And I could see that being the plot of this movie. Yeah. Because that's in this film. It's just so far into like an ancillary side plot.
Yeah, which I knew. I remember reading. Like, I think I do remember reading Adam Scott was actually supposed to be kind of a bigger plot part of this movie.
Right. I mean, that's probably what it was originally. And then they shoehorned these 3 girls in and worked that in.
And then put in, like, the character, because it's like, those are pretty recognizable, like, Spider Girls.
Well, they all turn into either Spider-Girl or Spider-Woman or something like
something
that.
along those lines.
Some of the characters are multiple characters. But, yeah, I think that's what it was originally, and then they changed everything with, like, a million rewrites or something.
Yeah, which I knew that did take a little bit for this movie to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the only bad thing is, I could see this character being actually decent in something.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, it's like, they wasted the character. Like, this character I don't think is ever going to show up ever again.
No, it's like Morbius.
It's like, it's done.
I don't think they're coming back. Well, what they should have done was had a post-credit scene where Morbius showed up at the end and told her, I don't know what's happening, but I'm pretty sure Spider-Man has something to do with it. Yeah. And then she just raises an eyebrow and goes, intriguing.
Yeah, they just do that. That's the end credit scene of all these movies.
And then at the end of Kraven, they should have Madam Web show up to him and be like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm pretty sure Spider-Man's involved.
Yeah, even though no one knows.
And then Kraven just goes, intriguing.
Yeah, just keep doing that over.
And just keep doing it like every single movie.
That's like the Spunk universe.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's not there.
They should have done that. But now instead they got rid of the post-credit scene. So this is Madam Web. Like I said, can't recommend it except for the lulz.
Yeah.
Kraven is probably going to be just as bad.
Yeah.
I don't know when Kraven comes out.
I know it's this year.
This year sometime.
It's like the year of the Sony Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, pretty much. So stay tuned for that. The only other movie coming out, there's Joker 2.
Yeah.
Is coming out. I think that's the only DC movie.
Yeah.
This year, because Superman Legacy's next year. And then Deadpool comes out in a couple months.
Yeah, which that's probably going to be good because it's done by
I would assume that's going to be good.
And being Ryan Reynolds, I'm sure it's probably going to be good. And
Hugh Jackman.
And Hugh Jackman's going to come back as Wolverine.
Yeah, huge jacked man.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's coming back as Wolverine.
It's probably his final. He says it's his final one, but I don't know.
Well, this has been his final movie for like the 3rd time now. So that's the lineup for the future of superhero movies.
Yeah,
so 2024 is looking kind of bleak.
Which I think that's probably a good thing to do that. But
yeah, they need a break, I think.
Yeah.
But we're getting 2 Spunk universe movies.
My favorite cinematic universe.
Mine too. So stick around for those, I guess. So if you like this video, remember to take the responsibility on you to hit that like button. Consider subscribing for more like this in the future, and you too could receive superpowers.
Yes, exactly.
See ya.
See ya.